Welcome back, dear students. We have already seen in anemia regarding the etiology, the classification, and what is anemia. These all things we have already discussed. And now we can see what is the pathophysiology, what are the changes due to the etiological factors, what happens in a anemic child. Okay, so as a starting in pathophysiology, already in etiology we have seen that what are the factors which is contributing to anemia in a child. It can be an excessive destruction of RBC, it can be a blood loss, it can be inadequate production of RBC, and it can be other causative factors. Okay, any factor which is a reason for anemia, it can lead to decreased oxygen carrying capacity of blood, because these factors will end up in decreased RBC, or it will decrease the concentration of hemoglobin. So that's why the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is decreasing, and the reduction in the oxygen available to the tissue happens. And usually when a child is with anemia, in the early stages the child will be trying to adapt with the situation by body's compensatory mechanisms. Okay, so the child usually adapts to the declining hemoglobin level by its own body mechanism, by the mechanism of hemodilution. Okay, so, the resulting hemodilution as a compensatory mechanism in severe anemia, it will decreases the peripheral resistance. It will decrease the peripheral resistance. So, when the peripheral resistance is decreased, the greater quantities of blood return to the heart. From the periphery, when the resistance is decreasing, more amount of blood will be coming back to the heart, and it will be coming and it will be circulating in the heart. So, increase in circulation and turbulence within the heart may produce a murmur. So, the workload is increasing, the flow of blood inside the heart is increasing, and because of this, there will be a chance of production of murmur. Abnormal sound also can be heard in many children who's with anemia. And increase in the cardiac workload happens especially when the child is doing some exercise, when the child is infected with any bacteria or viral infections, or in severe emotional stress. In these conditions the cardiac workload increases and it ends up with cardiac failure. So, usually comparing to adults, the child will be showing the manifestations of cardiac failure in anemia comparing to any other ages. Okay, so that's about the one of the main problem in cardiac failure will be occurring as a part of anemia because of this cardiac workload increase. Okay, along with that, the reduction in the oxygen available to the tissue will cause decreased cellular metabolism, because we know that for initiating the metabolism inside the cells we need oxygen. So aerobic metabolism is happening in the cells. So when the oxygen is decreased, there will be poor metabolism, leads to growth retardation. The height and weight is not gained adequately by the child, and there will be delayed sexual maturation in older child. So these all are the some of the problems which can be seen in anemia. So hope you understood the pathophysiology. We are moving to the manifestations or common anemia symptoms. So in the next classes we will be discussing one by one each anemia, like a destruction anemia, hemolysis anemia. These all things we will be seeing, and here what we are discussing is the common anemia symptoms. So what are the symptoms which can be seen in any anemia? Okay. So these are appearing in most types of anemia. It can be iron deficiency or megaloblastic anemia or thalassemia. In all anemias, we can expect some of these all manifestations like common. Okay, pale skin, dizziness, fatigue, headaches, irritability, low body temperature, numb or cold hands or feet, rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, weakness, and chest pain. So these are some of the common symptoms and signs which can be seen in any anemia, like pallor, dizziness, fatigue, headaches, irritability, low body temperature, numb or cold hands or feet, rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, weakness, and chest pain. So, one more thing, like irritability, usually when the children are affected with any illness and especially the chronic illnesses, the child will be showing the manifestation of irritability when they have a gastric abnormality, blood disorder, cardiac abnormality, neurological abnormality. In these all conditions, we can expect some amount of irritability in the child. Okay. Next is about the diagnosis of the condition. Here we can go with detailed family history. This is to find out any thalassemia or sickle cell disease or any other abnormalities in the family. Okay, in the inherited family disorders are there, or the generally anybody else is with any type of anemia that we can find out with the family history. Then we do complete blood count. So the complete blood count will give a clear picture about the hematological condition of the child, like number of RBC, hemoglobin. This all will be included in the complete blood count. Then if we need some more details on the hemoglobin and RBC level, we can go with the blood smear examination. Then iron test also can be done. These include total serum iron and ferritin test can be done. And hemoglobin electrophoresis can be done. Bone marrow aspiration and biopsy, especially when we are suspecting some bone marrow failure or any other bone marrow diseases or cancer, and the reticulocyte count. So these are the diagnostic measures, and even with a CBC complete blood count with hemoglobin and RBC counts, we can understand the hemoglobin concentration, and the RBC count will give a picture about anemia. But exactly what is reason for that, we can understand by the detailed study of other blood investigations. Okay, this is about the diagnosis. Next is about the nursing considerations. So assessment is very important, like manifestations we have to monitor. Detailed history, it is very important. And prepare the child and family for laboratory test. So something is abnormal, we have to explain them what is the reason for each and every laboratory test, and through that what we intend, that should be explained to the child. And decreased tissue oxygen needs should be considered, like we have to give rest for the child, proper we have to console the child properly. We should not give some irritation for the child, be with the child, like parents should be with the child. This all the demand of oxygen needs should be decreased by the nurses. And we have to prevent the complications, like we know that the growth failure is one complication, sexual maturation delay is another complication, and very importantly, many children are resulting in with this cardiac failure. So many complications can be there, and it can be a lifelong complication can be seen in many children if we are unattending the condition. So this are some of the nursing considerations which we have to keep in mind when we are observing any child with anemia. Okay. So this is generally about anemia, and in the next classes we will be discussing about the each anemia in detail. Thank you very much for your kind viewing. Thank you.